guys, welcome back to the channel here. Justin's Morse, where everything starts with a dream. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the first sedan that I ever bought in my entire time of owning cars. And I only paid $131 for this car. It is, introduce you, the 1989 Volvo 740 GLE 4-speed manual with an overdrive. And this is the last year of the rear wheel drive of the Volvos before they switched to front wheel drive in 1990. So let's do. Well, I love this car. I miss this car. I regret getting rid of this car, and that because of electrical issues. So without ado, let's get to explaining how I came across this car and why I like it so much. And that was one of my first sedans, and I got such a good deal on the car. And that, so yeah. So it started out. So me and a buddy of mine, he was looking at buying some cars out there, and he told me about this place outside of Regina. I don't want to really say where it is. We don't want a bunch of people going out there and everything. So it was an impound lot outside of Regina. And yeah, so we were looking at cars and stuff. He was looking at a car. I wasn't expecting to buy a car. And then what happened is we were walking through the field, and I managed to see this beautiful car sitting out there in the field there, grass up to the bumper and all that. I'm like, oh, that's a Volvo. I was looking at, well, I kind of was interested in one of these. Then I walked around the car and I see, oh, it's a manual transmission and that. So it was a manual transmission in there, and I was like, oh, the keys are there too and all that. So that, and the door was open. Surprisingly, the door was open on it. So I opened up the door, grabbed the keys and that, and then yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, so I went back, talked to the owner, the guy of the impound there, and I said, what do you want for this? And he said, well, $131, well, that's tax, everything was $131 for the car that I ended up paying to get this thing out of the impound. And it's sitting in the field. I mean, as you can see on there was the lining is falling out on the top and all that. Needed new tires. And the beautiful thing about this car, when I popped the hood, I thought it was an inline six, because that engine was massive in there, and it was only a 4-cylinder. It's a 2.4 red top engine, which is rare in these cars. Like, only so many of the 740 GLEs had this type of engine. And then I found it was a 4-speed manual with an overdrive on the knob, which that was the coolest thing I ever seen. I mean, when you hit that button, little 5 shows up on the dash. That is like the oh man, that's like the best thing to see. I was like really excited. Oh, look at that, there's a nice little 5 on the dash, and that time, and that's an overdrive, and that, or number 5, and that's no clutch to require to put in the 5th gear. So yeah, I really did. I did a few car shows with this, did a lot of pictures with them, parkades and that, cause I always find parkades have the best lighting to take pictures of cars, and that's what I find during the day, and that they have just the kind of the right amount of lighting that makes the car look good when you take pictures in a parkade. And the camera I was using, I think, was my S4. Yes, I was using my Samsung Galaxy S4 picture. I think this is I was picturing with this, if I remember the cell phone correctly, I used for this car and all that. And she was a long car, like it's one of the longer sedan cars and all that, and beautiful that it was rear wheel drive and that. So yeah, I took it out the car shows, took it out the scales and that, took more pictures of the car, and I was like, yeah, I only paid I was like, what? Yeah, I paid that. And the beautiful thing, so I took it in, got all the fluids changed on it, like the coolant, the oil. No leaks on the car. There was not a leak on this car, and I'm like, yes, no leaks on this engine. The power steering, the only leak that I found was the power steering pump was leaking in that, so sometimes I have to fill it up and then it would leak, and then at some point it's like Hercules steering sometimes with this car, if I lose power steering and all that. But most of the time I did kind of drive it without power steering and that, which was because I had the MR2 at that time before I bought this car, and so the MR2 had a pin rack and call, so didn't come with power steering. Well, this car had power, and when the power steering fluid goes low, oh yeah, she's a beast of that turn, this big girl in the car here and that. And there goes the kitty. You can't see her on camera. There you go, right there, little tail wag and that. I didn't want her stepping on all over the keyboard and pushing some random buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I really do love, like, this is one of the cars I do regret getting rid of, and it was the first sedan that I ever bought. I've never bought a sedan, nor ever had any interest in buying a sedans until I bought this car here. And that it just, like I said, the manual, and that put a aftermarket deck in it and that, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I drove it for over a year. I got rid of it actually in probably around the same time that I bought the car, so I got rid of it the year of 2018 and that. And because it had a lot of electrical gremlins, because it was out in the field, I never really looked hard at the electrical system and all that. And so the one time I was out driving down Albert Street there, and it's like, oh, I'm driving all set, what's that burning? And I look down and I'm like, oh, the fuse box is starting to catch us smoking down at the center console. So I'm like, okay, so didn't freak out or anything. Most people would freak out. No, not me. I just pulled over. And the funny thing is, I wasn't even surprised that the fuse box was smoking. I just wasn't surprised. That I knew it's probably that old Volvos had, especially saying out in the field, that they had electrical gremlins and all that. So I was like, wasn't really surprised, and I'm like, oh. So I tried pulling out the 10 amp fuse, and I burnt my fingers a few times on that. Put another 10 amp fuse in, it blew that, it melted, literally. So I managed to put a 20 amp in there, and that seemed to fix the problem temporarily and all that. But I use this car for delivering pizzas and everything. It looks good in front of some of the hotels and stuff when I was delivering pizzas and all that, just looking at the car, and that looked pretty cool. Yeah, so all I did, like, really for the whole year I owned this car, the only thing I had to do was tires and fluid change. The suspension was remarkable. Like, it was just like there was no suspension issue with this car, and one of the most comfortable cars ever driving. I could go over speed humps, won't even feel them. I can go over, I was like, oh man, this is the most comfortable car I've ever driven. It did have heated seats, though they didn't work. The heated seats didn't work, and yeah, but man, the ride comfort is what I love. That's what got me into, like, think about, oh, they're so comfortable, especially this car. I could go like 50 kilometers over a speed bump, not even feel it in there. It's like, oh, I don't even feel anything. Oh, just the ride quality is exquisite on the quality of the car and that. And so it had some electrical issues and everything like that. Took a few car shows and stuff and all that, which is pretty cool. And that I know, like, I lost a lot of pictures on my S4 in that, so I try to bring out as much pictures as I can show you guys of the car. Most of it's in the parkade. I looked at the scales and that, maybe one at the car show. Like I said, I tried my best to photograph and document this car. Well, and then also my and then I lost a lot of the photos and stuff and that, so I'm trying to refine some of them. I don't even think Google Photos has any of this, some of these cars. I don't know, and that. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, this car was, like, was a sedan. Oh yeah, I did replace the wipers on it, and I eventually replaced the front windshield on it because I had, like, a huge crack across the front there, and I didn't want to get a VI or anything pulled over by the police there. They get a VI ticket and everything like that. Love the glass lenses and that. As you see, the front of the car had, like, some fog lights and broken stuff, but I mean, for $131, it is a deal. Like, you can't go wrong with a car that has no leaks except for power steering, put new tires on and fluid change, and that was it. That's all I had to do to the car, and put a deck in there. That was it. Like, it is literally, like, yeah, it was like the perfect car, and that I drove. And I did take it out the track, as you see at the beginning of the video. You see it on the racetrack and stuff. I think I only raced it maybe one time, and I was out in the rain. Yeah, I was out in the rain. I raced that on the track, and that did handle pretty good in the rain. One thing I did notice when I was driving it, especially in the corners, when I hit the accelerator in the corners, it actually accelerated. Like, I could feel the wheels spinning, and the car was literally accelerating in the middle of a corner. Now, that's pretty shocking on that part, that the car was actually accelerating in the middle of a corner, because mostly they excel or go out of the corner slow or fast. I went in, and then as I'm punching the accelerator and kind of giving the back end a little love out, but not as much, and it just turned, like, I was like, wow, I've never had a car that accelerated in the middle of a corner all the time, compared to the Solstice, where it would be in the middle of the corner and I'm hitting the accelerator, but the tires really aren't really spinning really fast, where the Volvo was just had the torque vector on that, because it had such a big ass 4-cylinder engine in this thing. And yeah, so it just spun those tires in the corners, which was a lot of fun and stuff, even in the winter time. And then I was turning right onto a street, and I managed to yeah, the back end kind of slid out from underneath me, so I'm like this sideways, so I punched the accelerator and started drifting the car down one lane and try and get it into the second gear to straighten the car out. And the guy in the the pickup truck behind me was just kind of like shaking his head, kind of weird in that. So yeah, I had a few little mess with this car with the back end going out a few times. But the nice thing about the long wheelbase on this car, it's a lot easier to control the slide than in my Solstice, because the Solstice had a shorter wheelbase, so when the back end kicks out, it's a lot more, you have to counter steer a lot more aggressive. There with the Volvo, it's like, oh, hit the accelerator, turn it to the wheel to the way the car is going, and yeah, no problem, get control, all that. And then what really is after, when I was delivering pizza, I had a few people come with me, and there is no heat in the car. So during the winter, because I lost heat the blower motor, so I drove all winter with no heat in the car. And the only time I would have got heat is if I was on the highway where the speeds are high enough that you can actually get heat going in. So the winter time I was just all bundled up and everything, big moonwalk boots and winter boots and the Dakota ski pants and the jackets and everything like that. I was just like, wow, like this thing had no heat in the winter time. Like I lost it, I think it was in the blower motor went and that, and then there was, because I heard crackling and everything, and then after, I think the whole electrical just went on the car around December. No, it wasn't December. No, it was like somewhere in March. Yeah, March, the whole electrical system just went. So I had no headlights, no tail lights, no signal lights, no anything. The car was still driving. I just had hazards, so I was driving delivery without hazards on and stuff. And then like I said, the car actually caught on fire a second time underneath the dash stuff. I heard like crackling and stuff. So I was like, oh crap. So I couldn't drive the car for a while. And April of 2018 was a really cold, it was a super cold spring. Like it would not warm up. There was still snow on the ground in the middle of April, and I was going to work on getting the electrical system, like look at the whole electrical and get the whole electrical system sorted out and stuff, which would have been a nightmare to learn that. But I should have kept the car, but I didn't. But the whole electrical nightmare on that car, and yeah, it was so cold in April that I was like, I couldn't wait, and it's like, so I regret getting rid of it. I sold it for $800 and that to a guy, so I made 8 times what I paid for the car, or 7.5 times paid what I paid for the car, and that. So yeah, I do miss this car. It's one of the cars I really do regret getting rid of. I mean, the MR2 I would have said kind of regrets, but it has so much rust on it. This had hardly any rust on it. It had a little bit of rust on the trunk, and that was it. There was no other rust on this car. Like, this car was in mint condition, and I really do regret getting rid of this car. I should have just sucked it up and drove it, and then wait till it warmed up and then do the electrical system on it. Or I was going to take it to a electric place to do all the electrics for me and that on the car, and that would have probably cost me a couple of grand, but then the car would still be on the road, and that. So it was either that or work on the electrical myself. So yeah, I really did I do miss this car. I don't know where it is now. It might be still on the road, it might not be, I don't know. And that yeah, there's not much I can say, but yeah, this was the first car the first sedan that I actually bought, and that. So yeah, so I gave you a little bit of I hope you guys are enjoying some of the car histories of the cars that I owned back in the past, like before I even started YouTube and everything, because even right up to the AE92, I didn't start YouTube back then, even with the AE92 as well, and that. So all the cars that I've owned back in the day. So the Corolla would be, like, the new Corolla I drive right now is the 10th car that I've owned. So I've owned 9 cars in probably the past since I started, 2003, bought my first car. So 2, 3, yeah, I went through about 9 cars, so the Corolla's on number 10, and that just find the right car stuff. And you thought that the MR2 suited me, this Volvo suited me as well, as my personality and everything. And like I said, I missed this car, and that fix kind of did kind of pull the lining down and stuff. But yeah, with all that, you like this kind of stuff, let me know down in the comments if you're enjoying the car stories and stuff, and let me know down in the comments what kind of Volvo electric experience you experience with your Volvo, with those those electric gremlins that are always seem to pop up in old Volvos and that there. So yeah, like the video, share it, turn on notification, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and new subscribers welcome, new viewers welcome to the channel, and all that. And on Justin's Motorsport, everything starts with a dream, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
So it is your fault. Somewhere about, that is the back. I'd save up for a moment.